On the show today, we've gotten the project up to the point where we're attaching the boards. We're using a pretty classy type of decking, so we'll tell you more about that.
We're also using a new method for attaching the deck boards, and we'll give you our verdict on that, but so far we found it works best doing this with 3 people. So we have our old buddy Dan. We like to call him Lenny helping us out. So stick around.
Ready for a measurement, Lenny?
12 foot even, Robin.
12 even. The material we're using for the deck boards is a tropical hardwood known as EBTY. It's from Brazil, and it's naturally resistant to decay and insects, very much like redwood and cedar. One of the nicknames for this stuff is ironwood, and you know why when you go to lift up one of these boards, because it's surprisingly heavy. It's also very strong stuff. These are 1x4 boards, which is actually 3/4 of an inch thick. There's no spring to them, so you can use these even when the joists are spaced 24 inches on center.
As I mentioned before, we're attaching these boards to our joists using a system so we don't have to do any type of screwing or nailing through the top of the boards. And of course, the end result here ends up looking like the deck of a ship. It's absolutely gorgeous. The way we accomplish this is by using these little black fasteners. Using a plate joiner, we cut a slot in the decking, and then we slide these in, we just screw them down to the joists. Of course, in doing any of this, you end up creating a certain type of a system to do this, and Dan was out here a couple days ago working on that. What did you guys come up with?
We actually found out that if you use 3 people doing this, it really does help. You have 2 people up top, pre-drilling and marking everything else. One person's down below, and all they're doing is just cutting and using the plate joiner.
And again, what you're doing is you want to mark the board so you know exactly where the joist lands, exactly where this little fastener is.
Well, we found out that the joists vary some, and some are both. It's a lot faster marking them right in place so you don't have to worry about missing it.
Here you go, guys.
And then you also have on the end,
6-footer.
Okay.
On the end of each one of these boards, you've cut in a little bit of a biscuit just so that your butt joints line up for a while. I noticed.
Yeah, I mean it's just a regular wood biscuit, and it just helps keeps the end nice and flush.
So we'll just slide this guy right in like so, and then
you just want to take the hammer and just bang it in here.
Okay.
There you go.
We're in pretty well down there. Let me tap it on the end to make certain that that's in real well. Okay.
I'm going to tack this end, Dean.
All right, so you'll stick that in. Again, what you're going to do is pre-drill it.
Yep.
And then once it's pre-drilled, you're using stainless steel screws just so that we don't have any discoloration or rust or anything like that happening over time. And of course, with the stainless steel screws, they are a little soft on the top, so you can't just crank on them. You have to be
they
somewhat.
They do strip out, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so why don't I go ahead, if you want to screw these things in,
Yep.
I'll come back and, or if you drill them in, I'll screw them in. How's that sound?
Sounds good. I'm going to bang this stuff together.
Okay. I'll get the fasteners located, and we'll have another one done here in no time.
You happy here?
Okay. I'll jump over you here.
As we said, this wood already has natural preservatives in it, so all you really have to do is brush a little wax sealer on the end that's been cut to keep any moisture from absorbing into the end grain. It also prevents any cracking and checking. And because this is a quote-unquote tropical hardwood, we want to make sure to point out that this wood has a whole bunch of certifications that say it's been harvested legally and responsibly, something you definitely want to check out. Here you go.
Thanks, Robin.
Well, installing this lumber definitely takes a while. Of course, part of the reason is we are using 1x4 lumber. It's only 3.5 inches wide. Typically, when we're doing a deck, we're working with 2x6 material, a little bit wider. Goes faster, but I have to tell you, these center boards, it's a nice look.
Gino, would you believe 39 rows of this stuff?
39 rows, huh?
39.
What have we got about? We're just a little over 20. We got a ways to go yet.
Oh, yeah.
We really like how the prepaid decking is turning out, and we love how the fastening system looks, but it was fairly slow going in. Now we've worked our way to the edge of the deck, and because the fastening system works between the joints of two boards, we had to come up with a slightly different approach for this last board. Here, we're screwing down through the top of the board and then countersinking and putting these little plugs in that are also made out of EPE. So just squirt a little glue in and hammer it down, but it doesn't go down flush.
That's going to be your job later on. All we do after the glue's set up, we're just going to sand it smooth and we're done.
Okay, so I should sand those down right now then?
Nope, this is still wet, but if you can do that whole back side, that would be great.
Those are all ready to sand down?
You're
okay.
ready to go.
I'll do that.
Okay.